Hello, welcome to another episode of Watercolor Instruction. I'm doing a crashing wave. So there's no much reference. It's just I'm just trying to compose a drawing. So I'm going to put in a rock just in that area, and then maybe a couple of small rock in that area. But what I'm trying to do is the wave needs to be the main character. So something in that. All right, so probably I'm gonna add a horizon somewhere there and a little bit of foam. So foaminess, and I'm gonna do, so I'm just paying a little more attention. I just have a reference photo, but I don't have the copyright, so sorry, I can't share that, but some photo from Flickr. So I'm gonna just do, so at the moment it looks chaotic or doesn't seem like sense, but just bear with me and it will make some sense. So okay, so that's the darker bit and that's the white bit. I'm going to just put in an X so that I know that's a dark bit and the remaining is the white bit. So for this one I'm going to try using a long rigger kind of brush, so it's easy to flick than a stubby brush. Yep. I haven't tried this painting before, so this will be my first try seeing how it goes. So for the sky, I'm going to just do a simple pick up the gray from the palette. Maybe it needs a little more cerulean blue. So this is what I meant as, like, if there's a slightly longer brush, it's easy to flick. So I haven't tried this painting before, so we'll see how I managed to get on with that. Okay, so the next one, there's a little bit of turquoisey layer. So every time I come over here, so I'm just doing so coming here, adding I will come and splutter a little more white. This is just the first layer. All right, so sort of happy with that, and I continue with my painting. So obviously in the areas where I marked, I'm going to add in the first layer. So a little bit of turquoise, little light, so that I can come back. Some rough shapes. So I'm not being very particular about big exact shape. I'm just using that as a rough template, but I do care about the flow, the way the form flows. So I'm just being a little careful that there is some sort of arc or a path. Okay. Okay. So if I do a little bit of the rock, I'm going to put the base layer as yellow ochre. That's a good base layer, and then I can build from the yellow ochre. Okay, it's getting there somewhere. We'll see how it goes. But at this stage, I'm gonna dry a little bit with the blower quickly. Okay, so the first layer, now I'm going to just build the rocks. So I'm just using side of the brush just to add some textures. Also, the darker it is, it makes the waves look okay. Okay, maybe a little bit of green. Okay, that's a rock. I'm gonna do similar for this. Just using the finger to create some texture. I'm not super happy. It's a bit too green. I'm gonna just take, then I'm gonna stick with some brown. That just doesn't make okay. That's fine. Okay, I'm gonna come back now. So next thing I'm gonna do is I need a little bit of gray shadows, very light. I'm gonna just test that. That's okay. So I'm gonna come in maybe even more lighter. Yeah. There's a little bit of shadow to the water. So slowly adding thin layer which makes it 3D. So I'm randomly dabbing. I'm using that as a light source and adding. Okay, so that's fine. I'm going to continue with a little bit of the foam. The foam needs some sort of reference and a shadow. I will continue. Probably it's a little too dark. Add a little more water. Yeah, that's fine. Being careful to leave a little bit of white highlights. Okay. And a little more shadow on that area. The stone is casting a shadow as well. Now let's just play around with the foam. I think at this stage I'm gonna dry it quickly and go from there as a third layer. So a little bit of turquoise, green. So that color, I'm just adding a little more highlights. Oh. So adding some sort of mystery going on. So a little bit of color. Also being a little mindful about not to leave sharp edges everywhere. I'm going to blend in few soft edges, few hard edges. So that it doesn't look too stiff. See that thing? I'm just making it a little more soft. Certain areas like that is too sharp. I'm just coming in, adding a little more soft edges. And I continue with this one. Trying to go in that motion and adding a little more darker tones. So that area is a lot darker. Now coming in, checking if there is too sharp edges. So I'm just coming with a wet brush, breaking the edge a little bit, and continuing with a few more. A little darker in that area because there's a shadow. Even in the water, we are always playing with. I'm using a dry brush, adding a little more texture. See how white, bright that looks just by adding a darker tone. So okay. I think I'm gonna just make that area a little dark. That feels too faded at this stage. So I'm just picking up a little bit of gray here. Check and okay, that is fine. So now I'm going to try to build the horizon. The horizon is not clear. Add a little more color. The same on the other side. That's the horizon. That's what's going on. And now I think at this stage I'm gonna dry, but also I'm gonna pick up some white paint and clean a little bit of area. I'm gonna add some, I need to pick up some white, fresh white. You'll see in a second what I'm gonna do it. And this one has a white as well. I'm gonna start adding splatter on the edge. A lot more white, a lot more. So plenty of splatter, and I'm gonna just add a couple more white highlights. Not sure. And fewer places, add a little more stronger highlights. just for the colors to pop up. Remember, the darker it is, the surroundings looks a lot brighter. Okay, so a few more highlights under the hope you enjoyed it. Well, let me just dry and unveil it. And okay, so the last thing, I just feel the shadows are a little too light. I'm going to just add a little more shadow in that area. Another tone. Yeah, that's fine. That's, I'll call it a day here. Let me unveil it. There you have it. So a crashing wave, couple of rocks. So the way, if you want a slightly bigger one, try to do a smaller one, see how it feels, adjust to what needs to be done. A little more turquoise, a little more, whatever you feel fit. But I think this is a basic idea of crushing waves. So you want to just slowly build layer by layer and just trust your gut. It should look all right. Till next time, thank you. And if you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. Till next time, bye and keep watercoloring.